Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the series where we are highlighting CX leaders. Today, I'm very excited to say that I'm joined by Andrew Carothers, who is the Senior Manager, Digital Experience at Cisco. So Andrew, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So do you want to tell our viewers a little bit more about you, a little bit about Cisco, and a little bit about your experience in CX?
Happy to. So Andrew Carothers, I am the Senior Manager for Digital Experience at Cisco Systems. Cisco is a multinational, large IT company. We're best known for building the backbone of the internet with routers and switches and other networking gear.
Just a little bit more, how long did you say you've been in CX? A long time, right?
Yeah, so I've been in CX for roughly 10 years, all within Cisco. I've been at Cisco for 15 years. And it's been about 10 years that Cisco started building a customer success or customer experience organization. So I was one of the 100 original employees in that when Cisco just was dipping its toe into seeing it, which was happening as Cisco was shifting its business focus from hardware to recurring revenue with software and services, and realizing if we're going to do that, we need to make sure that people use and enjoy and get the business value out of the software and services that they're purchasing from us, so that we'll continue to reap the recurring revenue. So that necessitated the building of a customer success organization, a customer experience organization inside Cisco that had never existed before. So about 10 years ago, we started. There were 100 of us out of a company of 70,000 people. And I've always been in the digital team looking to scale what we do. So over the last 10 years, I've had a front row seat to the birth and growth of customer experience as a discipline within Cisco, but also externally within the industry as a whole. So I've seen a lot of, and we've made mistakes, we've done some things right. So I've seen a lot.
Is it nice to hear people starting to talk more and more about CX as a discipline?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started telling people that I was in CX years ago, they wouldn't know what I was talking about. I said, well, think about it as marketing for people who've already bought what you're selling. They're like, well, I kind of get that. Now, when I talk to people, certainly within business, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, well, that's a little introduction. So we're just gonna hop on into the questions that I have for you. So the first question, one that I'm really intrigued about, is what are some trends that you're paying attention to right now in customer experience?
Yep, there are a couple of key trends that we are looking at. Some of them are nascent, some of them are a little bit more developed, but they're still top of mind. And first off there are four of them. First off is digital everywhere. And what I mean by that is customers and partners expect to have digital options everywhere. They don't want to only be able to engage digitally with companies through, say, email or one particular channel. They want to have the opportunity to engage with customers, with companies, talking about customers here. They want to have the opportunity to engage with companies in the channel that they choose. And for some people, that's social media. For some people, that's email. For some people, that's SMS. And they have to have the opportunity to choose, right? It's the customer's adventure. They're choosing it. So that means that the company providing that experience has to be everywhere. It has to be everywhere digitally. And then the second trend is providing a simple, consistent, connected, personalized customer experience. And just to unpack that, because a lot of words, that means not only do we have to be where the customer wants us to be in the customer's preferred channel, but that experience that the customer has to be simple. And I know that sounds basic, but in the majority of times it's not. It's complicated. It's complicated by companies looking inward at how they do things and being limited by, well, this system on the back end doesn't talk to that system on the back end. That creates a complicated experience for customers and an inconsistent experience. And that is a negative customer experience. It also has to be personalized, filled with intelligence of what that customer has bought, what their adoption of the different things that they've bought is, so where they're getting stalled in their adoption process, what type of material in what channel or form factor is appropriate for that customer based on what the data science shows other customers are experiencing. And then so that customers can be self-service, right? They can be self-sufficient when they're engaging, whether that's holding a baby at 2 o'clock in the morning or at 11 a.m. from their desk, wherever their desk may be. They also want to have a human fallback when they need it. So let me do my own thing, but be there if I need help. That all requires a level of connectedness to be able to provide as well. So digital everywhere, providing a simple, consistent, connected, and personalized customer experience, self-service autonomy for customers with the human fallback. And then for the fourth one is for companies like Cisco with the channel model, being able to connect the companies, Cisco's, our CX reps with the partner CX reps and with the customers so that everyone's on the same page. And that is very complex. That is much more difficult than it sounds. So those are the four things that I really see emerging as trends in the industry and that we're spending a lot of time focusing on within Cisco.
All right, well, rapid fire on to question 2. What do you think are the most important skills in your field? I know there's so many skills, but if you could say a few.
Yep. So I'll break it down into 2 different categories. Technical skills, depending on one's role. So if you're focusing on journey mapping, you need to know how to do that really well. And if there's an IT side to all of this, right? So there's a customer research side to all of this, and it all ties together. So people should figure out what part of CX they want to be involved in, whether it be building journeys or the IT work or a customer-facing role, or tying together different systems and different processes within a company, which is more of a project management process optimization skill. So those are the technical skills which vary by the role that the person's in. And they're rapidly changing in CX as the field continues to evolve. So that provides an opportunity for a lot of employee development and advancement. More broadly speaking, outside, sort of overarching outside of independent roles, I would say that one of the most important skills is interpersonal skills, because for effective enterprise-wide customer experience, building that means influencing others within the organization and collaborating with teams across one's company to determine what the strategy, the process, the standards for that approach might be. So, and that requires effective interpersonal communication skills, the ability to communicate to people what your point of view is, backing up that point of view with data or industry analysis, whatever that might be, and then being able to effectively convince people that they should come to your approach. So I'll give you one brief example of this from my experience at Cisco. We looked around at one point and saw that we had seven different chat bots that we were using within Cisco. So 7 different teams independently in their own silo had built a chat bot to work with their collaboration customers or their security customers or folks needing technical assistance. So great that they did that, but all 7 of those were different experiences from the customer's perspective. They looked differently. Some of them were branded Cisco, some of them were branded a company that we'd acquired a couple of years ago. So it was where you typed in your questions if you were the customer was different in each one of these places. And yet we're one company, Cisco. So my organization then stepped in with all those different teams and worked together to jointly come to an understanding that this is not a sustainable approach, and to come to an understanding of what the one chat experience for our customers should be, and building that together, right? So some off-the-shelf software, some tailored customization, et cetera, so that all the different teams got the core of what they needed. That's one example of effective interpersonal communication skills being core to CX work, especially in a large company, where a lot of the work that's being done is being done underneath the waterline that the customer doesn't see in order to provide an effective customer experience that gives customers a quick path to the value they're seeking for, which would be the above the waterline.
All right, well, going into question number 3, and a very important question, I feel like. And I feel like you've kind of touched on this in all of your other answers. Why should companies take a customer-centric approach to business?
Well, that's the $64,000 question for a lot of companies that either like Cisco 10 years ago or other companies today are trying to figure out, is this really worth my investment? Can I get along doing things the way I've done versus investing a lot of money to build a whole new organization? And the answer is really, I think, as the CX discipline has evolved, I think the answer has become very clearly that companies should take a customer-centric approach to business because it's the only way to thrive. And that companies that fail to do this, it will cause the demise of their business. Point blank. Customers today, especially after the digital acceleration that we've seen spurred by the last 2 pandemic years, they expect the simple, effective customer experiences that they get from companies in other parts of their lives, right? Amazon, Uber, DoorDash, whatever it might be. You pull up your phone or your laptop, you punch a couple of buttons, and the food's delivered. Your package is sent. You can track your package. You can easily return it. If they don't get it in their business world or in their B2C world as well, they will switch vendors, because that's the other part. It used to be for a lot of companies, Cisco included, that the barriers to exit for customers were very high. So if they were unhappy, it was sort of tough. They're not going anywhere. That's no longer the case. Even in a once hardware-centric world like networking, the barriers to exit and to switch to another vendor for a customer are very low, especially when you're paying a monthly or every 6 months contract, right? So you wait out a short period of time, take your money, go somewhere else. Customers know they're in charge because they have options, and the barrier to go to another vendor is low. They've got options. And this is a direct result of the rise of SaaS, which has permeated almost all elements of people's lives. So given that reality today, all companies need to take a customer-centric approach to business and need to invest, if they haven't already, in understanding what their customers expect, what the pain points or the friction points that customers are experiencing today are as they look to purchase and install and adopt and renew their contracts, and solve for those problems in a way that is customer focused and partner focused if they have a partner side to their business as well. It quite simply, it is adapt or die. The good news, I'll finish with this. The good news for companies that just starting is that they're starting in a very different world, a very different industry understanding of the value of customer experience to the core of a business than 10 years ago when we were starting it out at Cisco. So hopefully they don't have to fight those battles internally, as well as a lot of the off-the-shelf products and tools are available than were 10 years ago. So I think it's easier to build out a customer experience organization that is effective. I think the approach, the process, the research is available to figure out what to do, what the strategy and approach should be. And I think a lot of the tools are available for implementing in a way that ties it together versus having to build everything. And so the number one piece of advice that I give people when they say, well, what should I do first? What should I start? Is number one, start.
Great answer. And I would say, do you have any last words for the CX community, or was that it? Do you want to be?
That's it. That let get going. Find if you don't have people inside your, I'll end with this then. If you don't have people within your organization who are ready to start, moving you forward, but leadership in an organization realizes they need to, here's another good thing. There are a lot of people across the CX industry who have figured things out over the last 10, 12, 5 years, whatever it might be. There's a lot of strong talent out there that you can go and bring into your organization to help you build it out. Again, 10 years ago, there wasn't. It was nascent. Now, the approaches to take, the tools to use, and the talent is available. So get going, because honestly, the future of your company depends on it.
All right. Well, you heard it here first from Andrew. And Andrew, did you want to say anything else before we end this, or anything about where people can find you?
Sure. Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Andrew Carothers, and Carothers, and you can find me on Twitter as well.
And those will be linked down below. So definitely check out the description. So that ends it here. Thank you, Andrew, so much. This has been enlightening. I sure learned a lot, and I know our viewers did. So thank you. And just a little plug for us. If you like this video and wanted to see more, definitely subscribe to our channel. We're going to have more of these interviews coming up soon. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you very much.